welcome to the Magic of Joy channel. Today I want to discuss something that I've been noticing a lot. And in my opinion, there are very few real ways of handling it that I think are effective. And I'm calling it disappointment bullying. And you'll see why and what it's about in a moment. I hope this discussion will clear up a lot of things that can contribute to less enjoyment in life, less happiness and joy. So, we want to feel wonderful in our own skin, happy to be alive. So let's see if we can make that better. Most dictionaries define disappointment as a state of being disappointed, of course, but we need to do better than that. We all know what it's like to feel disappointed. It's a feeling of being let down, and that means we had reason to expect something other than the result that we received. So a disappointment doesn't just occur out of the blue. It's not a feeling that just arrives without a reason. There's a very strong relationship between expectation and disappointment. So where do these expectations come from? Expectations are an interesting and very complex subject, and that's one of the reasons I think they're so difficult to handle. And they can come from many different sources. So when we're young, we have all sorts of expectations of others in the world. It's a lovely all-in attitude that we bring to the world, embracing the life that we bring to the world and what the world has to offer us. And that will result in disappointment when we discover that the reality of life is not as rosy as we pictured it to be. We may also receive messages of being a disappointment from others. Girls in a family that prefer boys get that message. Unfairness and prejudice of all kinds can bring disappointment. We may be considered a disappointment if we don't uphold certain social norms, social practices, and cultural rituals and events. The ties that bind us in a society, a family, a community, or nation come from a set of ideals, ideologies, norms, practices, and social bonding events like celebratory festivals and other holiday rituals. We may enjoy some, but not necessarily all of them. One of the reasons that sidestepping these social and cultural practices is challenging is that there are identities, stories, and judgments attached to them. They may affect us in negative ways. All of these identities, stories, and judgments are not necessarily the truth of things, which is one reason that cultures have social problems. So disappointment can be created through cultural norms, especially if we do not agree with or cannot support those norms. Not all norms are healthy and wise. We all have bumped into that at one point or another. All of these inherited ideas about social roles and social responsibilities, whether right or appropriate or not, contribute to a world where people are frequently bullied for being themselves. The minute you step outside what is expected, you may receive a backlash. This issue is complicated by the role of patriarchal and authoritarian hierarchies, which demand our compliance, obedience, and in the more severe situations, our total submission. All around the world, we're seeing people risking themselves to become and be more of who they are. All over the world, we're seeing a serious backlash, whether about female attire in Iran and other countries, or LGBTQ relationships in others. What is considered normal and right is being challenged. What is rarely asked is what makes sense, what contributes to a healthy, thriving world. Authoritarians are very threatened by those who think for themselves, are creative, and even humanitarian, because those qualities are all outside of the authoritarian playbook. One of the big challenges we have is to ask ourselves and each other, what is really a disappointment or not? What do we really have a right to demand or expect of others? And when is change of greater value than maintaining the older ways of living and being? These questions are not really allowed in authoritarian cultural systems, and those who raise these important and practical questions will often or usually be treated as a disappointment with the bullying that goes with it. So it's important to question and give thought to what is a disappointment. When is something a disappointment, and when is it just showing up in life, meeting reality in the moment? As social norms and expectations are right now, we do not have clarity about these questions, and we do not seem to have our feet on the ground. So what can we do? The good news is that a joy practice can help immensely. So let's explore that. Social norms and family and cultural expectations have a life of their own. They are practices and stories that provide a social glue that helps people feel like they have something in common. That common ground, though, comes from these social models, which may or may not be helpful in the present. A joy practice puts all that aside. It seeks to be constructive and caring and serve the common good in the present. So if social norms and cultural practices and expectations do not serve that commitment and intention, they're not really relevant in the present. A joy practice is grounded in the present and in reality. When the cultural stuff is not, guess what has to give way? And it's not the present and it's not reality. With a joy practice, we don't pretend there's no climate change because that interferes with the cultural story. You do not demand that someone be what they're not because that is what is convenient for others. A joy practice welcomes the real good that each person brings to the table, so there's no need to fight about identity. And as a result, there is no need to engage in disappointment bullying to get people, reality, and life to be what it is not. A joy practice removes a lot of stress, conflict, and pain from the world by being focused on creating quality of life in the present and the future, built on the contributions of the past, without being tied to or hog-tied by the past. A joy practice is both free and grounded. If we want to get beyond a lot of the conflict and bullying that takes up so much of our social space, it's worth a try. I hope you'll consider it and enjoy the goodness it brings to your life. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed learning more about how joy can transform your life. If you found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and loved ones. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more videos on the transformative power of joy. I'll be back soon to give you more information about how joy as a practice and compass can transform your life. Stay well and joyful until then, and thank you for watching.